Leading with Cultural Intelligence. Dr. David Livermore has authored several books on cultural intelligence and global leadership. Leading with Cultural Intelligence being one of them. He has the authority to speak on both global leadership and cultural intelligence because he has interacted with different people in over 100 countries, which has exposed him to different cultures on the globe. He's a visiting scholar at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore and currently lives with his family in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The core idea of this book is basically cultural intelligence, reviewing the 4 capabilities and describing their relevance to leadership. The audience here are the professionals working in a wide range of settings, including business, government, and non-profits. The purpose of this book is to help those working in diverse cultural contexts, developing their cultural intelligence so that they can be effective as they lead. In chapter 1, Dr. Livermore deals with the relevance of cultural intelligence to global leadership. He specifically mentions 3 things that stand out for me, but I'll mention only one, and that's multicultural challenges. In my country alone, we have 360 tribes, and that's 360 cultures. That makes my church a diverse cultural church, and that means my team and I have to be very careful as we lead the people that God has given to us. In chapter 2, he gives an introduction to the research on cultural intelligence, where you have an American executive in an Asian context and how he probably did not prepare himself well. But the beauty of that is that David Livermore mentions that you can be able to develop your cultural intelligence, and so maybe this was an opportunity for this gentleman to build his cultural intelligence. In chapter 3, I consider that a personal one. He says, I quote him on page 44, "No leader can escape working in a global context." This is so true, and that means all of us have to be and have to desire to learn about other people's cultures and how we can be able to work in other cultural settings. In chapter 4, he talks about knowing what matters is profound. And that's very important, because when you know what matters, then you deal with what matters. You don't waste time. In chapter 5, he basically deals with the individualism and collectivism cultures. And here in individualism, it focuses more on an individual's goals and rights, and collectivism focuses more on the group goals and relationships. I was happy to know that as Africa, we fall under the collectivism culture. In chapter 6, he deals with strategy. So important that in whatever we do, as we are working with in different cultural settings, we have to make sure that we have strategy. And then moving to chapter 7, he deals with action. He mentions that personal behavior must be adjusted as we relate cross-culturally. That's so important. You can't come from one culture and bring your behavior in another culture and think that it will be acceptable. That will not work. In chapter 8, he deals with the ROI, that is returns on investment. Cultural intelligence is heavy work. It's a huge investment which must be intentional. When you invest, you must expect returns. I have seen this work when I have been culturally sensitive. In chapter 9, he deals with the issue of building teams. When you're a leader, you don't work alone. An effective leader works with a team. As one, you accomplish less. As 2, you accomplish much. When you are culturally sensitive, build a culturally sensitive team so that when you're working together, you're not contradicting each other. In conclusion, cultural intelligence is an important skill set for anyone living and working in the 21st century. I quote him from page 228, and this is so true, not just for those leading, but for everyone, because we are in a diverse world. This book is essential for all the missionaries or the expatriates and anybody coming from outside of Uganda and working in this collectivism culture. To my friends, as a class, all of us come from different cultural settings. Number 1, it's important that we all are sensitive about each other's cultures. But number 2, that we are all sensitive about the cultures, the different cultures that we are working in. And that is, for example, Mike coming from US and working in Honduras. Bruce coming from Canada and working in the Ukraine. And Matthew Fries working in Korea. I would say in conclusion that being culturally sensitive will yield great results. May God help us as we work wherever He has placed us to be able to be culturally sensitive so that we can be able to deliver the message of the gospel. I thank you so much for listening to me.